Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hang on for a second here. Hold up. Hold up. Gotta get some work done here before I have to go down the road. It's gonna be a crazy day. My work is never done. I got up at 6:30, came out here. Look, here's what we did. We painted, put a coat of paint on all that stuff right there. Okay, got these two Joe Bardys put together, and I touched them up so Micah can ship those out. I got cutting boards that I had to glue up last night. This was actually a pile of lumber yesterday. It's been laminated, just got to sand it and then oil it down and ship it. And they'll leave here in about an hour. So I got a lot of work to do between them. I do a lot of thinking when I'm working. It's actually, when I'm working and when I'm driving, I do a lot of thinking, and I come up with answers or questions or solutions and things like that. I just think a lot. And I've been in here this morning thinking because I remember listening to Philly 500's live stream last night, and he was going on, what happened to baby Lawrence Taylor? Thought Mark Holmes said that he's the next Lawrence Taylor. He didn't do anything. Well, he had a half a tackle, and he had a pass defense. And I remember being downstairs one day for a game, and I think I was talking with DMV, because this is kind of what I had said. The question I had was, when D-Law and everybody else gets back down on the field, will it hurt Micah Parsons? Because it's kind of like when you end up having a bunch of receivers. Okay, for example, we had Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb and all that, and then he said go get Kyle Pitts. The problem is there's only so many balls to go around. At some point you kind of not everybody's going to be happy. Well, there's only one quarterback to go around, and now that you got Randy Gregory, D-Law, Tristan Hill, Neville Gallimore and stuff, you can only have so many people rushing the passer. And hence, last week, you had Micah Parsons playing middle linebacker. He wasn't awful at middle linebacker, but that's not really the thing with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is the number one graded edge rusher in the NFL. That takes into consideration T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, and all these things. You see T.J. Watt with a lot more sacks because he is rushing the passer every single down. Micah Parsons is a part-time pass rusher. Hence, it's a little bit of a problem there when you start talking about getting his snaps. So here's the thing. You have to figure out, are we better off having Micah Parsons as a non-impact middle linebacker, or are we better off getting Micah Parsons more snaps rushing? And quite frankly, the reality is you need pressure on the quarterback, especially this time of year. Because when you talk about somebody like Tom Brady, the thing that gets to Tom Brady, and the reason I'm going to tell you that he lost, and the reason that he lost those 3 Super Bowls to the NFC East, was because of pressure in his face. He does not like it. He does not respond well to it. Hence, if you can do that, then you are in much better shape as a team getting after the quarterback. So the problem for Dan Quinn is, how do I get enough snaps for Micah Parsons to be able to get some for himself as well as these other guys? Now, in the going forward, what may end up happening is this problem will take care of itself because of free agency and the salary cap. You can't afford to keep everybody that you want. You know, the D-Law is $27 million cap hit next year. You could restructure him, but then you start looking at it and saying at some point we're going to have to pay those bills. You know, you've got Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory is at the last year of his contract. So Randy Gregory, then you have to say is, are we bringing Randy Gregory back, or are we going to say we're going to take Micah Parsons and make him the edge rusher? Because, see, I remember my sophomore year at JMU. My sophomore year at JMU, Charles Haley, the way we called our linebackers, everything was a dog. So we had the Spike linebacker, which was the strong side, and the Duke, which was the middle linebacker. Okay? And Charles Haley, my sophomore year, was actually a middle linebacker. Yeah. But then they decided we want more pressure. And they took him from being a middle linebacker that he was very good at and put him on the edge. Now, when he got to the pros, he was about 250 pounds, 6'3", not huge for an edge rusher. And although nowadays you're seeing the evolution of edge rushers where they're not necessarily really big guys as they are fast guys, and that's what Micah Parsons is. So you look at that and say, would Charles Haley be in the Hall of Fame if he was a middle linebacker? I'm not sure that he would have, because he wouldn't have gotten those 100.5 sacks. You could look at Randy White, who was a linebacker, and they made him a defensive tackle. His first year as a linebacker, he was awful. If they kept him a linebacker, his career would have been shortened. But as a defensive tackle, a guy that's getting after the quarterback, a guy that's plugging up the middle, incredible. And this is the problem for Dan Quinn is, what do I do now that I have so many edge rushers? I'm not saying that this is a terrible thing, because even with Micah Parsons in coverage, even if Micah Parsons as a linebacker, your defensive front got to the quarterback. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. We got to the quarterback. We got 3 interceptions and a couple of fumbles. You didn't have a problem there as far as getting the work done. But can you take it up an even higher notch? And this is where you start getting to be, the mad scientist. Because you may play him as that middle linebacker. You disguise what he is doing to late blitzes. You have him sitting back. Boom. Snap of the ball, takes one step, and then goes boom. Gets the offensive lineman, going to where he's not. Cheat him up onto the offensive line. Make him think that he's blitzing in the A gap and he's actually backing off. You're going to start playing these games to get you advantages of trying to figure out, is he coming or is he not coming? And that's what Dan Quinn is going to have to do to really use him to the uttermost effectiveness. I believe that part of the reason why we've seen Micah Parsons being so great was because of the circumstances of D-Law not being there, that it ended up giving him a chance to shine with his biggest strength. Now, we'll see if Dan Quinn uses that biggest strength more or not. But in the meantime, I got to get this stuff done so I can get out of here and get back so I can watch the Washington football team versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not sure who I want to win this game tonight. I actually would like to see a tie because I can't stand either of them. And that way my kids, at least, one doesn't feel slighted. I'm Mark Holmes. Well, we get back to work.